Hey everybody, this is Matt, and in today's video I have for you a deck profile. This is my Dark Magician deck for the Legend Anthology Festival. So the Legend Anthology Festival is here for the, as part of the celebration for the 1 year anniversary of Master Duel. And yeah, this is one of the most fun festivals I've played. Honestly, it reminds me of Jank format that my locals has, where like just a bunch of broken stuff is banned, and I can actually have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? So most hand traps are banned, most blowout cards are banned, but not all, right? So yeah, let's get into this. Just like my previous deck profiles, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Dark Magician core first. So in terms of Dark Magician core, we run 2 copies of the bad boy himself, the Dark Magician. So obviously we gotta run the Royal Finish, right? Alternate artwork, which is I guess Lulz's favorite artwork. My favorite is the Yugi artwork, for those of you who were curious. And of course, the potato artwork. You got, just 2 Dark Magician. Don't run 3. You don't need to run 3. This card is bricky enough as it is. Do not run 3. If you're running 3, you're wrong. You're just straight up wrong. Like, that's all I gotta say. All right. We're running 1 copy of the DM Girl. We are playing the Dark Magicians, and we are playing Soul Servant. DM Girl basically just gets us draw 2, right? Obviously, she's kind of bricky. Sometimes you're able to send her off of Soul Servants if you already have access to DM, and then you can possibly get a draw 2 on turn 1, but not as easily as in the Anaconda into Dragoon Path, which we have, or we used to have in the TCG. So yeah, 1 copy of DM Girl. I'm running 3 copies of Magician's Rod. So this is your main normal summon, your starter. No, I don't see any reason to run fewer than 3 copies. Some DM players like to run like other normal summons like Manju or whatever to search IOC, but I don't think this is that kind of like festival, right, where you have to, like, I don't know, I feel like that just doesn't do it, especially since Anaconda's banned. We can't go into Anaconda anyway. So yeah, 3 copies of Rod. We want 3 copies of Magician's Souls. This is our one of the best extenders in the game and the best one for our deck. It's a free summon. It literally mills one of the bricks, either DM or DM Girl, summons itself. You can send cards to the graveyard to draw for cost. Yeah, it's just a great card. Don't ever run fewer than 3. I don't know why you would, right? We are running 2 copies of Illusion of Chaos. Only 2. We only need 2 because you don't really want more than 1 in your opening hand. But we are running 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. So basically, we essentially have 5 copies of Illusion of Chaos, right? Preparation Rites searches Illusion, and so here's the thing, folks. Illusion of Chaos is once per turn. Preparation of Rites is not. So if you open 3 Preparation of Rites in your opening hand, you can play all 3. You can play 2 of them, right? If you really want to search Illusion of Chaos, or you can play 1, search Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos gets you Souls. Souls sends the other 2 to the graveyard, and you draw 2 cards. So yeah, Preparation Rites is typically you want to see more of than Illusion. But we essentially have 5 copies of Illusion. Like, ever since I'm so happy we finally got Illusion of Chaos, because this card, like, it significantly increases our consistency, and it helps unbreak our hand, right? You search a DM monster, related monster, and then you put a card from your hand back on the deck, so you literally unbreak your hand. So please run 2 Illusion of Chaos with 3 prep. We are playing 1 copy of Apprentice Illusion Magician. This came up a few times. Obviously, this can be searched off Illusion of Chaos. This can basically help us run over big monsters, especially if you're in the lower ranks. You're going to see a lot of Blue Eyes decks. You can run over the Blue Eyes monsters thanks to this card. Also, this is another extender where you pitch a card, special summon this, and then search DM, right? And also, if you can potentially get her on the field and have that 3rd body, you might be able to go into a Blackluster Soldier Link 3 play, on turn 1, potentially. So, yeah, she's pretty good. Never had issues with her, never really bricked on her. We are running 1 copy of Timaeus the United Dragon. This card also recently came out. This card's okay. I mean, it's not great. I mean, it kind of works because, like, there aren't a lot of monster interruptions, so this can kind of like freely fuse whenever, So yeah, this monster allows you to. It's another body. You send a DM card or a spellcaster. Note, and it can be any spellcaster. It does not have to be a DM related spellcaster, right? You special this, and then you can use this effect on field to fusion summon, some DM related monsters. Typically, you want to make the Dragon Knight. Sometimes you make the Dark Magicians or other stuff. Okay, so we are running 3 copies. So I think those are all the core Dark Magician monsters. So we are running 3 copies of Soul Servants. This card is cracked. It's a quick play. It recycles cards from the graveyard. It stacks card on top of our deck. It draws us 1 card, sometimes 2 cards. It is amazing. Like please run 3. Don't run fewer than 3. A lot of time when you're normaling Rod, you'll either search this or you'll search one of the other DM spell traps. But like, especially if you have DM Girl and DM in the graveyard already, then using Rod to search Soul Servant means you're going to be able to search any DM card you want plus another card because of the draw 2, right? So yeah, really good. We're running 1 copy of Magician's Salvation. This card is pretty solid. It's a 1 of, because you never really need more than 1. It sets Eternal Soul directly from the deck. Basically, whenever you summon DM or DM Girl, you can special summon the other one from your graveyard. So this can produce 2 bodies potentially. And worst case, it's like discard fodder for souls, so you can draw more cards, or it's like fodder for you can send the graveyard to summon Tamaya. So very good card. We're running 1 copy of Secrets of Dark Magic. I always said that Secrets of Dark Magic is like a better version of Tamias, because you still get to fuse. Obviously, Tamias provides the body, the dragon, but I mean technically, like, you can get access to dragons via like I'm Duck or whatever. But yeah, so this card's really good. Helps with like OTKing in the battle phase. Also helps with getting dodging Imperm Veiler, getting monsters off the field, like have your Rod dodge, right? Imperm Veiler kind of thing. Yeah, it's just a really solid card, very good follow-up, and it can also unbrick really bad hands. Like, let's say you open DM Girl, which is really shit to like see in your opening hand. If you also happen to see secrets, then that all of a sudden that hand is no longer that bricky. So we're running 2 copies of Dark Magical Circle. I would say a minimum of 1, and if I were playing ranked ladder, like with Dark Magician, I'm only gonna play 1 because this card is good, but it's not that good. And in fact, like, I would not even say this card is good. Because most, like, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, you add a Dark Magician or a DM spell trap, but most of the time, you're not going to add anything. You're just stacking your deck and providing a once per turn banish. That's its main purpose. So, yeah, we're at 2 in the festival because a lot of cards are banned. Otherwise, we'd be at 1. So we are at 2 copies of Eternal Soul. Same logic as Dark Magical Circle. This would be at 1 otherwise. But yeah, this card makes your Dark Magician and Dark Magician Dragon Knight unaffected by card effects, and it revives a Dark Magician every turn from the graveyard. So this, in combination with Circle and a DM, allows you to basically banish a card from your opponent's field once per turn. So yeah, would be at 1 if not for the fact that a lot of stuff is banned. Speaking of stuff that are banned, Upstart Goblin is banned, yo. Look at this. All right, so let's check forbidden cards here. And yeah, the saddest part about I'd say Upstart Goblin is core to the deck, and this card is banned. Chicken Game is also banned. Sag. So yeah, we don't have that famous draw 1 synergies that this deck just loves. So essentially, this is the Dark Magician core, right? Like, this is you should probably not play. Like, I mean, technically you can cut Prep to 2 if you really want to. You can cut Circle to 1. You can cut Eternal Soul to 1 if you really want to, right? Technically, you don't have to run Apprentice. Technically, you don't have to run Tamias. Technically, you don't have to run Secrets. But yeah, I mean, again, this is a festival. It's not ranked. So I think, play all this. Why not, right? So let's get into other cards. Some spicy tech options. So we are not running Upstart, but we are running the True Name. So near the end of the festival, I remember that this card existed. Yeah, let's read what it says. Declare a card name, activate the top card of your deck, and if it's a declared card, add to your hand. Then you can add to your hand or special summon 1 divine monster from your deck. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. So, I mean, obviously this is not good as Upstart or Chicken Game, but it's almost as good because, and in fact, we're running 1 copy of Sphere Mode. So basically, if you have this card plus either Soul Servant or Dark Magical Circle, or even Illusion of Chaos, right? You literally get to not only draw a card, which is the similar effect of what we want off of Upstart or Chicken Game, right? So the reason Upstart and Chicken Game are so good in Dark Magician is because you get to draw a card, and that's important because a lot of cards stack the top of your deck, like Circle, Soul Servant, and Illusion of Chaos all stack the top of your deck. So drawing card can be very powerful in this deck specifically, right? But since we don't have those, we settle for True Name. So True Name, you just have to name the card that's going to be on top of your deck. Which obviously, if you don't have Servant, Illusion of Chaos, or Circle, you just have to get lucky, I guess. because otherwise, you know, Upstart or Chicken Game will just draw you a random card. So this is definitely worse. But to be fair, it can search you sphere mode, folks. So let's say you're going second and you're against an annoying DDD board, like some really obnoxious board, right? Or a board that just has a lot of stuff, right? Let's say you open True Name and Illusion of Chaos, or True Name and Soul Servant, True Name and Circle, right? You can literally like stack the top of your deck with one of those cards, activate True Name, and then you draw the card that you stacked, and then you can also add Sphere Mode to your hand. You literally search Sphere Mode, and then you tribute your opponent's board to summon Sphere Mode, and there you go, right? That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, this True Name will not only draw you the card that you declare on top of your deck, but it will also add Sphere Mode to your hand, which A, thins your deck, and B, is discard fodder. AKA, like, you know, it's fodder, like, you can put it back on the deck with Illusion of Chaos, like, you know, it's just generating card advantage, essentially, right? So yeah, I'm a big fan of True Name. Shout outs to the folks in the Dark Magician community who reminded me that this card existed, because I literally completely forgot that this card existed. So like more than the 2/3 through the festival, I wasn't using it. But yeah, it's really good. You should use it. It's really good. All right, other spicy tech options. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead with 2 copies of Effect Veiler. I only own 2, and I don't want to spend the UR gems, right? This card is a spellcaster. So Ash is banned, Nibiru is banned, Droll is banned. There's so many hand traps that are banned. Effect Veiler is not banned, DD Crow is not banned. So those are the 2 main hand traps. And of course, 1 copy of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is limited to 1, right? So the cool thing about Effect Veiler is obviously you can negate an opponent's card, and in this festival that can be very powerful. But the second thing is it's a spellcaster, which means technically Timaeus can send it for cost, right? And it's a spellcaster, which means you can use Secrets of Dark Magic to fuse DM or DM Girl with Effect Veiler to make the Dark Magician. So it's a solid card, you know? It's not bad. Like, in fact, if you want to replace this Imperm with a 3rd Effect Veiler, go right ahead. I just think 2 is enough. Like, and Imperm, you know, it's like, well, yeah, it's fine. So that's really fun. We're also running 1 copy of Magicalized Fusion. So this card is cracked because you know, the games in this festival typically go more than 1 or 2 turns. Like, and this card is amazing, not just, you know, in its ability to make the Dragon Knight. So if you have Souls plus this card makes Dragon Knight, right? Use Souls, summon DM link into Timaeus. Sorry, not Timaeus. Imduck. Magicalized Fusion will fuse Imduck and DM Engrave into the Dragon Knight. Sorry. No, it won't. Ignore everything I just said, because Dragon Knight is a dragon, and this can only make spellcasters, so it cannot do that. I'm lying. Don't believe what I just said. I'm not Team Samurai X1. I'm not cosplaying Team Samurai X1. To be fair, I never did this in Master Duel, but what I did use this for is to summon Quintet Magician, which is the biggest boss monster in this festival that can just destroy everything. It's just, yeah. You summon the Quintet Magician, you win the game. That's basically been my experience. Every time I activated Magicalized Fusion to summon Quintet Magician, I won the game. Theoretically, you could also use this to fuse into the Dark Magician. So, yeah, really good card. What else are we running? We are running 3 copies of Forbidden Chalice. So Forbidden Droplet is banned. And guess what, folks? Forbidden Chalice is a rare. So there's no excuse for you to not afford this card. It is free as fuck. Forbidden Droplet is banned, obviously. Dark Ruler No More is banned as well, right? Imperm's at 1. Veiler's, you know, technically at 3. But this is just more negates. It's like, this festival is, the decks are so, like, flimsy that most of them die, or, like, either die to 1 negate or, like, are significantly weakened by 1 negate. So sometimes you just want that. You just gotta get that 1 spot targeted negate, right? It's just a good card, going 1st or 2nd. What else? We are running 2 copies of Book of Eclipse. So this card is like for those of you who've seen my Flaunderies Master Duel content, this card is cracked. It's essentially like Dark Ruler No More, if it was not bad, right? Like, it's a poor man's Dark Ruler No More. I think Dark Ruler is an ultra rare, and this is a super rare. Yeah, flip all monsters on the field to face down defense position, right? So you're essentially negating their effects, or you're preventing them from using their effects. Obviously, on the end phase, they flip those monsters face up and they draw cards, but that's never come up. This card can be Ash, but Ash is banned, so it doesn't matter, right? Previously, I was running Swords of Concealing Light, which is similar to this card, right? In that you flip your opponent's board face down, and basically stop their effects. I mean, the cool thing about this card is that it keeps their monsters face down. So even if you can't board clear them, their monsters are going to stay face down for at least 2 more turns after this. The only problem is this card is not a quick play, which means if you're going first, this card is kind of bricky, right? Whereas Book of Eclipse can be used going first or second. It's just a great card. So yeah, so earlier when I was not playing the True Name, I did play Swords of Concealing Light, as you may have seen in my Adventures video. But I think, yeah, the True Name package is just a little bit more gas. And yeah, just the right amount of gas that this deck needed, right? And then of course the last 2 cards, which are, I'm sure a lot of you can recall from my videos, 2 copies of Super Polymerization. This card is the best card in the festival. This can hit every single deck, period. There was not a deck, oh, that's not true. Against Time Lords, I did not use this, but every other deck I was able to hit with this. It's a board breaker. It's great going first. It's great going second. It's just great, right? So yeah, I love Super Poly. I wish I could run 5 copies, but alas. Or 3 copies, whatever. But, we're at semi-limit at 2, so that's fine. So, yeah, so this is a very solid deck. Pretty good going first or second. Obviously, DM has that problem where, sometimes you just gig a brick, and there's nothing you can do about it. That it is what it is, right? But, yeah, I was able to, I mean, my Adventures of video had 15 games in it, right? And to get to 11,000 points in the festival, you need 22 wins, right? So 22 wins will get you to the end, and I showcased 15 of those wins, right? I would say I won more than 2/3 of the games that I played with this deck. Obviously, like during the festival, I was playtesting with Eradicator Epidemic Virus. I was playtesting with Deck Devastator Virus. I was playtesting with a lot of other cards, right? Related Prisoning Mirror. I would say by the time I got this deck to the state where I was happy with it, yeah, I think my win rate definitely went up. And I was winning like 65-70% of games, or more, right? Like, it's a very good deck. I legitimately think Dark Magician is the best deck in this format, for this festival, of course. So yeah, like I said, feel free to play around with some of the DM ratios, but I think this deck will easily get you to the end of the festival and get you that certificate. So let's talk about the extra deck. Extra deck, very important. So we have 1 copy of Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. Where you at? Right here. Oh, whoops. I want to put the rare one, right? So this can be made with Timaeus. This can be made with Secrets of Dark Magic. This can be made a few ways. Super Poly, technically, right? This becomes DM name while on the field or graveyard. It protects your back row from destruction and targeting. So if you have this with Eternal Soul and Dark Magical Circle, not only will this protect those from being destroyed, but also, you can revive it or revive DMs and then just keep banishing stuff every turn. This is just great. And it's a 3k body, which can revive itself, or which can be revived off Eternal Soul, so you will definitely get a lot of mileage out of it. So I did summon this a number of times during the festival. Next, we have 1 copy of the Dark Magicians. Wow, I can't spell. The Dark Spellions. Yeah, this card came up quite a bit. Draws you cards. It can summon DM go from the deck if it's destroyed. It's very solid, and it's a way for you, to dodge. If you're trying to dodge Imperm Veiler with your Rod, you can chain secrets. You can chain Super Poly, but also in the battle phase, you can just produce a 2800 body, right? So, yeah, very good. Next, we have 1 copy of Master of Chaos. So this card came up once. So this is a good board killer. So if you're going second, you're able to make this. Banish all your opponent's monsters. But you need to tribute a light and dark monster. What light monster? Artemis, right? Artemis is a light monster that can be made off of Rod. So literally, if you have Rod and you're able to make Master of Chaos, by the way, you make Master of Chaos by fusing Dark Magician with Illusion of Chaos, right? So let's say you open Rod with let's say you open Illusion of Chaos with Dark Magician in your hand. Illusion of Chaos grabs your Rod. You put another card back in your hand on the deck. Normal Rod. Search Secrets of Dark Magic. Link Rod into Artemis. Use secrets to fuse Dark Magician with Illusion of Chaos to make Master of Chaos. Master of Chaos on field effect on summon effect will revive Rod, and then you can tribute Rod and Artemis from your field to banish all monsters they control. Man, this card would be cracked if this was a quick effect. Like, it would be insanely good if it was a quick effect. But alas, it's a slow effect. Another thing this is good for is generating 3 bodies, right? So the combo I just described puts 3 bodies on the field, right? And then from there you can, if you want, make the better boss monster, which is Blackluster Soldier of Chaos. So yeah. So this card sometimes comes up. In the mirror matchup, it can be good, assuming your opponent's Dark Magician is not protected by the Dragon Knight. But also, this is also a way, if your opponent makes Blackluster Soldier or a similar monster that you can't out easily, this is a non-targeting banish of all your opponent's monsters. So, yeah, very good. Very good card. One copy of Quintet Magician. This is made off Magicalized Fusion. Let's read what it says. So fuses 5 spellcaster monsters. It must be fusion summon. If this card is fusion summoned using 5 spellcaster monsters with different names, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. So this is like, if you're able to pull this off, you're winning the game. And in fact, every time I summon this guy, I won the game. This face-up card on the field cannot be attributed or uses fusion material and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So an indestructible boss monster that can only die by the battle is 4,500 though, and access code is at 1, and Zeus is non-existent, right? Or is it? I don't know. Maybe Zeus is in here. Anyway, guess what, folks? Effect Filler is a spellcaster. Rod is a spellcaster, and if you link Rod into Artemis, you produce another spellcaster. So it's actually very easy to get 5 spellcaster monsters. You use, like sometimes you feel, oh, I don't want to banish my DM girl or DM. Effect Veiler, Souls, Rod, and Artemis is 4 spellcasters already, like by itself, right? So all you need is 1 more, and you can make this with 5 unique names, right? So don't be afraid if you're like about so. I never had to banish both my DMs or like my DM girl to make this. Plus, if you make this, you're winning anyway. So who cares if you banish them? Yeah, very good monster. Next, before I finish with fusion monsters, let's go into link monsters real quick. So we're playing 1 copy of Link Karibo, just a way to protect your life points. Link souls, and obviously when it's in the graveyard, you can recycle it with souls, or you can make souls dodge Imperm Veiler, right? 1 copy of Imduck. Imduck is a dragon. You can use Imduck to link away Dark Magician into the graveyard. 1 copy of Artemis. If you're not playing Artemis, what are you even doing? This card is great. It's a light monster, so you can use it to tribute for Master of Chaos's effect. It's a spellcaster, so you can use it to fuse into with Seekers of Dark Magicians. You can use it for making Quintet Magician. Also, by putting Rod in the graveyard, Rod can recycle itself on the subsequent turn by tributing Artemis, so you can get another search off, right? So we are playing 1 copy of Wee Witch's Apprentice. This card is, not good, not great, but we don't have Anaconda, we don't have Dark the Dark Charmer, we don't have IP Masquerena. Most Link 2s are just banned, so this is like a good way if you have Rod and like Dark Magician on the field. You just link those 2 away into this girl, and she increases all dark monsters by 500 attack. So yeah, she can help you OTK, she can help you swing over annoying monsters. This makes it so that Dark Magician is a 3k beater, technically, so you can just swing into and crash into an enemy 3k beater. So yeah, very good card, at least in this festival. Normally it's not a good card. We are playing Soldier of Chaos. 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier of Chaos. This is also one of those cards where, like, if I summon this card, I pretty much win the game. So 3 monsters and unique names, very easy to do, especially on turn 2, sometimes on turn 1, right? It says, if this card is linked using level 7 or higher monsters, so that includes DM, includes Timaeus, and includes DM the Dragon Knight, right? Or any of the super poly targets, which we're going to get into, your opponent cannot target with card effects and can be destroyed by card effects. So it becomes pretty hard for your opponent to out. And then when this card destroys a monster by battle, activate one of these effects, gain a 1500 attack, banish a card on the field non-targeting, or make a second attack. Most of the time you're banishing. Once in a blue moon, you're gaining 1500 attack if you have nothing else to do, if you don't have a card to banish. But yeah, this card is cracked. This is your real boss monster, like, since we don't have access, to a lot of stuff. Selene, unfortunately, is banned, but we still run access code just because, another way to, like, OTK or, like, kill our opponent. This came up, like, once or twice. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, so let's talk about super poly targets. We have 5 super poly targets in the deck. Let's start with the obvious ones: Starving Venom, Fusion Dragon, any 2 dark monsters. There's a lot of decks that run darks. Dark Magician Mirrors gonna make darks. DDD make darks. Heroes make darks. There's a lot of decks that make darks in this format, in this festival. And guess what? This card is so good because not only you super poly away their board, you make this monster, but this monster immediately gains attack equal to one of their monsters. So basically, this can become like really big and then immediately run over the said monster. And if they negate, or if you can't run over the monster, you crash into it, and then when this card goes to the graveyard, you destroy all special summon monsters your opponents control. So this card, if you super poly your opponent's board to make this, can clear your opponent's board like no other. It's really good. Unfortunately, my Dragon of the Swamp is banned. That's kind of sad. But we are running Predaplant, Dragostapelia. This card is not banned. This did come up once or twice. You can fuse this using any attribute fusion monster plus a dark monster. This came up a few times. It's pretty good. We have one copy of Predaplant. Oh, great. Oh, did I forget how to pronounce this again? Trifivorotum. Trifivorotum? Whatever. Predaplant Trifivorotum. 3 monsters on the field, and you will be surprised. In fact, not that surprised. Go watch my Adventures of video. How often this comes up. It's so easy for my opponent to put 3 monsters on the field. There's so many dark decks running around this festival. DM mirrors, hero decks, DDD decks, that I was able to make this dude really easily. And guess what? Read this effect, the first bullet point here. When your this does have an on-field effect. When your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, while you control this fusion summon card, quick effect, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy the monster. So a pseudo discount, diet solemn strike on a monster that you make off super polying their field. Very good, right? And then the last 2 super poly targets are Earth Golem, Adignister. So other than like DM, DDD, like those kind of decks, there's actually a lot of link summoning decks in this format, in this festival. Marine Cess is legal. Salamangreat is legal. Adignister is legal. Code Talker is legal. And guess what? All those decks lose to Earth Golem, or rather, you can super poly their monsters, Earth Golem, Adignister. All this requires is 1 Cyberse monster and 1 Link monster. Very, very easy to make. And in fact, when this card is fusion summoned, you take no damage, so you use it on your opponent's turn. They literally cannot OTK you. And when this, if this card attacks a monster that was special summoned in the extra deck, it gains attack equal to its original attack. So this card can run over a number of extra deck monsters. This is a very good card. I highly, highly, highly recommend you play this card as a super poly target in your extra deck. Do not cut this. Please don't cut this. Finally, the last super poly target is kind of a mysterious one. It's literally called Mysterion, the Dragon Crown. This is super poly 1 spellcaster monster with 1 dragon monster. Wait a minute, 1 spellcaster monster with 1 dragon monster. What's the implication? What are the targets for that? Well, now I haven't seen many Blue Eyes decks, but I hear through the grapevine that Blue Eyes decks are running around a lot in like lower, in these festivals you're matched to people of similar rank. So the lower ranked players, there's a lot of Blue Eyes decks. And guess what Blue Eyes decks loves to make? They love to put Dictator of D or whatever, Tyrant of D on the field, which is a spellcaster, or Sage of Eyes of Blue, or Maiden with Eyes of Blue, or Master of Eyes of Blue, which is a spellcaster. And they like to put a dragon monster, like Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. You can super poly those monsters into this guy, Mysterion the Dragon Crown. Another application, you're against a deck that turbos Crystal Wing, right? You can fuse away Rod and Crystal Wing into this monster, right? So yeah, there's a number of applications. I would say of the super poly targets, this one came up the least often, simply because I just didn't see any Blue Eyes decks. But I hear they're all over this festival, so maybe in the lower ranks, you're gonna get a lot of mileage out of this card. Obviously, if you have the ability to fuse a Dark Magician with a Dragon monster, you might as well make the Dragon Knight. But sometimes you want to make this. This is a 3K body. Let's read what it says. If a monster uses activated effect to special summon itself, or a monster of the same original type, except during damage set, target one of those special summon monsters, banish it, and also banish all monsters on the field with the same original type. So this card has a pretty solid effect. So not only can you super poly your opponent's board to make this potentially, but very solid effect where you can just banish a bunch of your opponent's cards, right? So very good. All right, so that's my deck. If you don't think Mysterion comes up enough, or you don't see enough Blue Eyes decks or decks that make Crystal Wing or whatever, feel free to swap this card with another super poly target. What are some super poly targets? There's Guilty Gilfried, the Magical Knight. 2 warriors, monsters with different attributes, so good against hero matchups, right? There, or maybe possibly Utopia, depending on how they build it. What other targets are there? So I was originally looking at this card here, First of the Dragons, which 2 normal monsters. So I thought, oh, maybe if there are a lot of Blue Eyes decks, I literally fuse 2 of their Blue Eyes away into this, right, on my field. Just some ideas, right? Have fun, like, find some stuff that works. Maybe if you're seeing a lot of Salamangreat, there's a Salamangreat fusion monster called Violet Chimera, Salamangreat monster with a Link monster, so there's that. But I feel Earth Golem is typically better. So yeah, Super Poly is amazing in this format, in this festival. Please don't cut it. Please run it. You will not regret it. Like, trust me. Worst case, you use Super Poly on your own monsters to make more monsters in your battle phase, and then keep swinging, right? Like, it's fine. So, anyway. So this event was really fun. Wish it would stick around more, or at least come back. Maybe in the future, it would be really cool to play this festival using like a hero deck, either Destiny Hero or a Neos deck. So, yeah, I commented on in the Adventures of video that one of there were a few Elemental Hero players I went up against, but I feel like Destiny Hero, like, just make a more Destiny Hero build, or just a pure Neos build with a couple of the Elemental Hero supporting cards. Like, I think it'd be really good in this festival. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And yeah, Dark Magician, best deck in this festival. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Will I play Dark Magician Ranked? I guess we'll never know. We'll find out on the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z, right? That's all I can say for you. So, see you in the next video. Peace.